The motoring world is in mourning. Beloved television presenter, journalist, car expert Quentin Wilson has died at the age of 68 following a brief but valiant battle with lung cancer. He passed away peacefully on November 8, 2025, surrounded by family and loved ones. For decades, Wilson was a familiar face in British homes, the calm, witty, and passionate man who made us look at cars, not just as machines, but as living, breathing pieces of history and art, from Top Gear to Fifth Gear. From print columns to campaigns that changed government policy, his voice was one of authority, intelligence, and authenticity. The world of motoring journalism has lost one of its finest storytellers, and television has lost one of its true gentlemen. Quentin Wilson was born on July 23, 1957, in Leicester, England. He was a twin and the son of Professor Bernard Wilson, a brilliant mind who served as the first codebreaker at Bletchley Park to decode the Italian Navy's Hagelin, He-36 code machine during World War II. That legacy of intellect, curiosity, and precision ran deeply in Quentin's blood. Growing up in a household that valued logic and learning, Wilson developed an early fascination with cars not just as vehicles, but as reflections of design, culture, and innovation. Before he ever became a familiar face on television, he was a car dealer who built his reputation on honesty, expertise, and an encyclopedic knowledge of the industry. That hands-on experience became the foundation for a broadcasting career that would make him one of the most recognizable motoring figures of his generation. Wilson's rise to fame began when he joined the BBC in 1991. Co-hosting the original version of Top Gear alongside Jeremy Clarkson, his charm and intellect added balance to the show's chemistry, making it a hit among audiences who loved both humor and car knowledge. Every week, viewers tuned in to hear Wilson's detailed insights on used cars, a niche he turned into art. His segments became trusted guides for ordinary consumers who wanted to make smart, informed purchases. When the original Top Gear ended in 2001, Wilson didn't slow down. He launched the car as the star and All the Right Moves, both of which he produced himself. The former became a cult classic for car enthusiasts, while the latter was the first property show to focus on financial realities long before property television became mainstream. Wilson then made the bold move to Channel 5, where he helped launch Fifth Gear, the rival show that carried the torch of classic car journalism into a new era. When Top Gear was relaunched on the BBC, Wilson famously remarked, "It's a compliment that the BBC are so afraid of losing ratings to us. They've lured my old co-host out of semi-retirement." His wit, never cruel, but always sharp, was one of his greatest assets. At Channel 5, Wilson also created Britain's Worst Driver, a concept that became so popular it spawned a series of spin-offs: Worst DIer, Worst Farmer, Worst Husband, Worst Teenager, and even Worst Zookeeper. His self-deprecating humor shone through when comedian Harry Hill later parodied him, joking, "I used to be on Top Gear, now I'm on Channel 5. Welcome to Britain's worst career move." Wilson took it in stride because he knew he had built something that entertained millions. In later years, he appeared frequently on BBC Breakfast, Daybreak, and Channel 4 News, offering insight into everything from winter driving safety to the highway code. In 2015, he returned to Channel 5 to host the Classic Car Show, a production that beautifully captured his lifelong love for timeless automobiles. Quentin Wilson was more than a presenter. He was a voice for fairness in the motoring world. During the 1990s, he took on the car industry itself, exposing how new vehicles in the UK were sold at artificially high prices compared to the rest of Europe. His public campaigning led to major changes, prompting the European Commission to intervene and create new block exemption rules to lower prices for UK consumers. In 2011, Wilson became the national spokesman for Fair Fuel UK, one of the most influential fuel campaigns in Britain. Thanks to his relentless advocacy, the government deferred fuel duty rises, worth billions of pounds, saving UK drivers countless amounts of money. He appeared before Parliament, stood in the House of Commons during debates, and became a respected voice in both media and policy. Though he resigned in 2021, citing environmental concerns with the group's direction. His decade-long work reshaped public policy and made fuel costs a mainstream political issue. As an author, Quentin Wilson's pen was as powerful as his presence on camera. He wrote regularly for the Sunday Mirror and published 10 books, many of which became must-haves for car enthusiasts. His titles, including Classic Cars of the World, Ultimate Sports Car, and The Quentin Wilson Guide to Used Cars, reflected not just knowledge but passion. In 2004, he was honored as Motoring Writer of the Year, cementing his legacy as one of the finest voices in automotive literature. Away from the cameras, Wilson was known for his warmth, humor, and gentle charm. He lived a private life, grounded and thoughtful, far removed from the flashiness of fame. Friends described him as a deeply loyal man who loved storytelling, jazz, and long countryside drives. His passion for classic cars wasn't just professional, it was emotional. He often said that every car had a soul and a story, much like people. That belief guided everything he created and wrote. Quentin Wilson passed away after a brief illness with lung cancer. Despite his condition, he continued to work, write, and communicate with fans until his final days. His family confirmed that he faced his diagnosis with quiet courage and grace. Never losing his sense of humor or gratitude for the life he'd lived, Wilson is survived by his wife and children, who have requested privacy as they mourn the loss of their beloved husband and father. His family described him as our anchor-wise, funny, and endlessly curious. He made every day brighter. Those closest to him remember not the TV personality, the devoted family man who cherished Sunday lunches, vintage cars, and long talks by the fire. Quentin Wilson's legacy extends far beyond the screen. He taught millions how to look at cars, not as symbols of wealth, but as stories of design and history. He challenged industries, influenced government policy, and entertained an entire generation. To this day, viewers still revisit his Top Gear segments, smiling at the calm professionalism he brought to a show, often known for chaos. His Fair Fuel campaigns changed the economic conversation around transportation, saving drivers money and holding power to account. Above all, he leaves behind a legacy of integrity, a man who loved his craft and never stopped fighting for fairness and passion in everything he did. At the time of his death, in November 2025, Quentin Wilson's estimated net worth was around $2 million, accumulated through his television work, books, speaking engagements, and consultancy roles. Yet those who knew him say his true wealth lay in the trust and admiration he earned from millions who learned, laughed, and lived through his words. As the motoring community lights candles in memory of Quentin Wilson, tributes pour in from fans, colleagues, and friends across the globe. He wasn't just a presenter. He was a storyteller of speed, design, and human ingenuity. Tonight, the roads feel a little quieter. The engines he loved so dearly hum softly in tribute. And somewhere, one imagines Quentin behind the wheel again, smiling, thoughtful, and forever at peace. Rest in peace, Quentin Wilson.